Let's start with Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. King David, a significant figure, wrote many psalms, but he isn't alone. Asaph, the sons of Korah, and Solomon also contributed, adding their voices across different eras of Israel's history. This collection includes 150 individual psalms, divided into 5 books, just like the Torah. Each psalm has a theme: praise, lament, thanksgiving, or wisdom, reflecting our relationship with God. Have you noticed how emotions shape our experiences? The psalms invite us to feel them all openly. Consider Psalm 137, created during the Babylonian exile. It speaks of sorrow and longing. Psalm 119 is unique. Its acrostic form creates a rhythm that enhances its poetic nature. Now, think about how we use psalms in worship. They have been integral to both Jewish and Christian traditions. Imagine reciting a psalm at a funeral. It offers comfort, just like it did for a grieving mother. She found solace in Psalm 34:18. Those words became her lifeline, reminding her of God's presence. How about young professionals? One woman overcame anxiety through Psalm 23:3. He restores my soul. This psalm helped her prioritize her mental health, showing how these ancient words still guide us today. During daunting times, soldiers find strength in Psalm 91. Its promises of protection offer peace amidst chaos. Each psalm reflects life's journey. What challenges or joys can you relate to them? The Book of Psalms has influenced literature and art. Can you think of songs inspired by its themes? From Bach's compositions to Milton's poetry, these texts transform lives and inspire creativity. As you explore the Psalms, remember they can be a source of comfort and strength. They speak to us across time. How will you let the Psalms resonate in your life? Dive deep and discover the emotional journey waiting for you in this ancient book. To truly appreciate the Psalms, we must first understand their structure. They are not just a random collection of poems, but a carefully curated anthology of human experience, ranging from the highest peaks of joy to the darkest valleys of despair, all centered around a relationship with the divine. The authorship is diverse, which adds a layer of profound authenticity. While King David is the most prominent figure, the collection includes contributions from various prophets, musicians, and even anonymous poets, each bringing a unique perspective to the shared tapestry of worship and lamentation. Let us categorize them to make sense of the complexity. We see hymns of praise, which celebrate God's character, psalms of lament, which cry out in pain, and wisdom psalms, which offer guidance for living a righteous and meaningful life in a broken world. Consider the Psalms of Praise. These are moments of pure, unadulterated ecstasy. The writers use vivid imagery: mountains, oceans, and stars to describe the majesty of the Creator. It is a call to stop everything and simply acknowledge the overwhelming beauty of existence. In contrast, the Psalms of Lament are perhaps the most relatable for most people today. They do not shy away from anger, confusion, or even the feeling of being abandoned. They provide a sacred space to voice our deepest frustrations without fear of judgment. Lament is not a sign of weak faith, but a sign of honest faith. By bringing our suffering directly to God, the psalmists demonstrate that intimacy requires vulnerability. They teach us that it is okay to ask why and to express our rawest emotions. Then we encounter the Psalms of Thanksgiving. These are slightly different from praise. While praise focuses on who God is, thanksgiving focuses on what God has done. They are retrospective, looking back at specific moments of deliverance, protection, or answered prayers in daily life. This pattern of lament turning into praise is a recurring theme. It mimics the rhythm of life itself. We often start in a place of darkness, but through the act of vocalizing our pain, we find the strength to pivot toward hope. Let's examine the literary devices used to heighten this impact. The psalmists frequently employ parallelism, where two lines mirror or contrast each other. This creates a rhythmic cadence that makes the words feel more musical and easier to internalize during meditation. Metaphor is another powerful tool. They describe God as a rock, a fortress, or a shepherd. These aren't just poetic flourishes, they are survival descriptors. When life feels like shifting sand, calling God a rock provides a mental anchor for the weary soul. We also see the use of anthropomorphism, giving God human-like qualities such as hands, eyes, or a listening ear. This makes the infinite, incomprehensible Creator feel accessible and deeply personal, bridging the gap between the cosmic and the intimate. The historical context is equally vital. Many psalms were composed during times of exile, war, or intense political upheaval. Understanding the struggle of the ancient Israelites helps us see that their cries for justice and peace are not new, but timeless. The concept of imprecatory psalms often confuses modern readers. These are poems that call for judgment upon enemies. While jarring, they reflect a primal desire for justice in a world where the wicked often seem to prosper while the innocent suffer. Rather than being fueled by personal vendettas, these psalms represent a surrender of vengeance to a higher authority. The writer is essentially saying, "I cannot handle this injustice, so I hand the scales over to the only one who is truly just." Moving into the wisdom psalms, we find a different tone. These function much like the book of Proverbs. They weigh the paths of the righteous against the paths of the foolish, offering a moral compass for navigating the complexities of human society. They emphasize the importance of fear of the Lord, which in this context means awe, reverence, and a profound respect for the divine order. This foundation is presented as the starting point for all true understanding and meaningful living. How can we apply this to our modern lives? In an era of instant gratification and superficial connection, the Psalms invite us into a slower, more contemplative way of being. They encourage us to dwell on truths rather than just skimming the surface. Try practicing Lectio Divina with a single psalm. Read it slowly, meditate on a specific word that strikes you, pray through that word, and finally, simply sit in silence, letting the rhythm of the text settle into your subconscious mind. You might find that a psalm you read during a period of grief provides a vocabulary for your pain that you simply couldn't find on your own. The words become a bridge when your own voice feels too weak to speak. Conversely, during seasons of abundance, the Psalms can prevent us from falling into the trap of pride. They remind us that every good gift is a blessing, keeping our hearts grounded in gratitude and humility. The Psalms also serve as a communal tool. For centuries, they have been sung in temples, cathedrals, and small house churches. They are meant to be shared, creating a collective voice that transcends individual isolation. When we sing these words together, we realize our struggles and joys are part of a much larger human story. We are never truly alone in our experiences. The ancients have walked these paths before us, and they left maps. As you explore this collection, don't feel pressured to understand everything immediately. Some parts are mysterious, some are difficult, and some are simply overwhelming. Let the poetry wash over you like a tide, working on your heart over time. Notice the progression of emotions. A journey through the Psalms is rarely a straight line. It is a spiral that moves through tension and resolution, leading to a deeper, more resilient kind of faith that has been tested by fire. The Psalms teach us that faith is not the absence of doubt, but the decision to bring that doubt into the light. It is a continuous dialogue between the human condition and the divine presence. So, as you close this introduction, open the book itself. Whether you are celebrating a victory or mourning a loss, there is a psalm waiting to meet you exactly where you are, ready to walk beside you. Consider the raw vulnerability of Psalm 22, where the writer cries out in profound loneliness. This isn't a polished hymn of perfection. It is a gritty, honest plea from the depths of suffering. It reminds us that even in our darkest hours, our cries are heard and understood. Then, contrast that darkness with the exuberant joy found in the Hallel Psalms. These are the songs of victory, the rhythmic celebrations of life's greatest blessings. They teach us that worship is just as much about dancing in the sunlight as it is about weeping in the night. The structure of the collection itself tells a story of progression. We move from individual laments to communal songs of praise, showing how our personal struggles eventually weave into the larger tapestry of human experience and shared spiritual heritage across generations of believers. Beyond the words, the poetic imagery creates a sensory experience. We encounter refreshing waters, sturdy rock foundations, and the gentle shadow of wings. These metaphors provide a universal language for things that are often too deep or too complex for simple, everyday conversation. Ultimately, the Book of Psalms serves as a mirror. When you read them, you don't just learn about ancient poets, you discover the hidden corners of your own heart. It becomes a sacred space where your most private emotions find a voice and a home.